Gee whiz.
Invaders from Mars. He saw them land from outer space. He saw them capture innocent people only to destroy. Father turned against son. People changed into strange, weird animals. A general of the army becomes a saboteur. Trusted police turned into arsonists. The boy's parents changed into killers.
But nobody's hitting anywhere out there. Nobody can locate anything. Anybody. The Martians. We've got to start the...
Invaders from Mars, capturing humans at will for their own sinister purposes, turning them into diabolical instruments of destruction. Invaders from Mars, weird, fantastic beings of a superintelligence, ruling a race of synthetic humans and pitting them against mankind's dream to conquer the universe.
Come on, step on it. Search every tunnel. We gotta find Ronaldo and the kid. When the colonel gives the signal, get back here on the double.
And good morning, everybody. Happy Halloween, and welcome to 31 Days of Monsters, day 31. Oh, can't believe it's already here. It just goes by so fast this time of year when we do these shows together, and I'm always sad on day 31. Today, I always like to end our 31 Days of Monsters with a classic horror science fiction show, just because that's where my love lies in these 30s, 40s, and 50s types of films. This one's an early 50s, 1953, originally made in 1952, but released in 53. Invaders from Mars. This is a very surreal film. It was directed by William Cameron Menzies. Menzies was a well-known designer in Hollywood. I think this is his first film as a director. But his fingerprints are all over it because this movie, is a sci-fi movie, looks like no other. I guess originally they said they were going to shoot it in 3D, and so the sets were designed to have this sense of depth to them. But I guess for budgetary reasons, or no, actually, I think it said that they couldn't. There was no 3D camera available at the time of shooting, so they couldn't use it. But there is a great sense of depth, and people back in the day swore they saw it in 3D, even though it never was filmed that way. And maybe he wasn't going for this, and maybe this is why I get this impression of surrealism in this film by the set designs, because maybe it was supposed to be pulled together more by the 3D cameras. I don't know, but certainly when you go to the police station and stuff, there's this sparseness and this surreal. There's only so many indicators that you're in a police station, but you clearly know you're in a police station. But it doesn't look like any one that's ever existed. You know, it's very, very sparse. And whether that's intentional or not, I think it lends to the dream aspect of this film, because they leave you wondering, was this the kid's dream, or did it really happen, or was it a premonition? Because at the end, you know, the movie kind of starts to repeat itself. He sees the same thing of the spaceship, you know, coming to land on the backside of their property. There's something just so iconic and creepy about that fence line that goes up the hill and over that people disappear into. when I was looking for images for the banner for this today's show, I came across a bunch of those shots, and I was like, wow, there's even shots where nobody's in them. There's a certain iconic creepiness to them, and I really like that. This was shot in a like a two-strip color process, um, and it always looked like crap to me. But just recently, this past year, this was given the upgrade, the Blu-ray or the 4K upgrade, and all the colors have been re-established and balanced properly and everything. And now it's a beautiful looking film. It always looked like it was like a Super 8 from somebody's garage whenever they aired it on TV, and I really hated that. I hated watching color films that looked like crap, like the color was all washed out. There's no balance between them. But this one looks nice now. It looks really good. So this is a fun movie. I love a story where a kid is our protagonist, and he's the one that's trying to help us, help the world understand what's going on. The acting is great. Leif Erikson as his father. Leif Erikson usually played a bad guy or a heavy, and he does here too when he becomes a slave to the Martians. But prior to that, when he's just the kid's normal dad, he's just a loving, wonderful father, and his relationship with his kid is really great. So that when he does turn to the other side, you saw that scene where he whacked his kid. It's very impactful, I think. So bravo to him. There's a lot of really great character actors that show up in this one that went on to other things later on in their careers that people know them from. One of the scientists is Robert Shane, and if you grew up watching The Adventures of Superman, when you see him, you think Inspector Henderson. Milburn Stone is in it, and he played Doc in Gunsmoke. Barbara Billingsley, Mrs. Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver. Is it the general? What's that guy's name? Hold on, because I just learned his name today. But he's a face you see in all these. Morris Ankrum. He plays Colonel Fielding in this one. He's always a general. He's got one of those mugs that when you see him, you go, "Oh, okay, that's General such and such." In this one, he's a colonel. Richard Deacon is in this. Deacon was in the Dick Van Dyke Show. Who else is in here? Arthur Franz. He was in a couple sci-fi films from the 50s, also in Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man. So I like these movies where you see all these guys pop up early on in their careers and stuff, and it's always fun to spot them and see where we know them from. So happy Halloween again, guys. I hope you enjoyed 31 Days of Monsters. I hope you enjoyed this movie, and let's check in, see who is here. Who's first in the room today? Dan Genovese gets the pumpkin of the day. Past Master Dan is number 2. Dr. Mask Retro Elixir is here. Hail Graham. Hail chat. Having my Lab Roasters Witch's Brew this morning. Should do a commercial. 31 Days of Monsters. Brought to you by Lab Roasters Witch's Brew Coffee. So good. You'll get the bill. I like this movie. Dr. Mass says, I like this movie for what it was, but it could have been 20 minutes shorter. A lot of footage of military equipment running through tunnels. I can't argue with that. Yeah, I definitely can't argue with that. Richie Dupe is here, and he's giving you all bananas. Hyper Kaiju, Fearless Freep, Jake Blues, who says happy Halloween to our horrible host. Thank you. Thank you. Stippling Vaughn says, remember, we have 2 months of reruns to watch, so withdrawal from 41 days, you mean 31 days, doesn't start till January. Well, I've been thinking about that, guys, and I'm really enjoying these mornings. So what I'm thinking of doing is, so I don't undercut myself when it comes to 31 Days of Monsters, maybe doing like a Monster Monday, so to start our week. So we'll convene here at 8 o'clock in the morning on Mondays. Maybe not every Monday, but we'll try and make as many Mondays as possible, and we'll do something like this. We'll do a monster movie or a TV show, or maybe something that's coming up in the theaters that looks cool to talk about. Maybe even monster comics, all that kind of stuff. I think that would be a lot of fun, and it'll keep our thoughts and love for these things going throughout the year. So that's my present. Rob Fellows, let's check Rob's quote today. You've got to hit him right in the puss with them grenades, Sergeant. Hope I heard that right. He probably did. It sounds about right. Cigar Gangster is here. Marcus Calligrew. Marcus says the last page of Old Raw Head had been posted. I'm not sure what that is. Cigar Gangster, like the continued Hollywood Department of Defense partnership, which started during World War II. The beauty about these 50s things is that their access to all that kind of hardware was readily available. World War II was just over. Let's see, 45. This is 53. So what? 8 years. 8 years ago. And whenever you see these sci-fi films, the military, or let's say our heroes out in space, they're all outfitted in World War II surplus. 1911 45s, M1s, hand grenades. Just all that great stuff, and the accoutrements, the belts, the bags, all that kind of stuff. I love it. One of my favorites, I did this show years ago on It the Terror from Beyond Space. They're going to outer space, to Venus, and they're all packing 1911s on their sidearms on them, and they've got bazookas on board too. Now, you're in a self-contained, in a vacuum on a spaceship, and they're shooting at this monster that's on the ship and everything, and a 45 slug punched through a lot of stuff, including the hull of your ship. Brian Blevins is here. Good morning, Brian. Is Julia already doing her stretching and pre-packing, so she's ready at noon? Yeah, she's getting it going this morning. Her first priority is getting Joe 2 finished, and she's very close to that. So, yeah, the orders will come in. What Stippling is referring to is the launch of the Shinu plushies, which are going on sale at noon today on the Compass Comics website. That's www.compasscomics.com. And while I'm thinking of it, you know what? I should just put it right in here. There we go. So it's in the chat now. So these Shinu plushies are going on sale today. These big, they're 12 inches from head to tail. And you got the legs too. They sit upright, super soft, made in America. And it comes with a mini print, a funny little mini print called All My Love, the Shinu mini print. And they retail at $75. a flat rate $10 shipping within the U.S. And so it's a great deal. They're very rare. There's only 500 made, and only 400 will be 500 made, 400 available today. I'm holding back 100 for a future campaign perk level. So they're going to go quick, I know. So you'll want to tune in to the show today at noon for when I hit the button to put it up on the website, so you can grab yours. Ethan had suggested I package, I list them as so you can get multiple copies, but I'm not going to do that because they are so rare. I don't want anybody to grab a whole bunch of them. I mean, you can get as many as you want, but you'll have to order them separately. This gives the opportunity for everybody to have a chance to get one. So I think that's more important since it's such a low number. Dr. Matt says, yeah, the lab where the one sci-fi, well, the one scientist was unlike any lab I'd ever seen. Yeah. Even the backyard is unlike any I've ever seen. Yeah, it just had a really, really cool look. Oh, Man of War 665 is here. Good, good. It's Not Important is here. I'm trying to make sure I don't. Oh, Black Ice too. The Normie Nerd. Did I capture you? Maybe not. I got you now. Leg Kick 1 is here too. You know, they did Toby Hooper made a remake of this in the 1980s, and it's quite good. It's almost better than the original. The creatures are really cool looking. Let's see here. I found a Star Trek connection when Dr. Kelston, Arthur Franz, was describing nearby stars from where an invader might come. He mentioned Wolf 359, where the Borg crushed a Federation fleet. Oh, okay, okay. There's another Star Trek connection, actually, because Peter Bracco, who plays Brainerd, Wilson's aide, in this film, was one of the old guys in a first season episode with the Organians. He was one of the Organians who was predicting the Klingons were out there. What's the name of that episode? I'm drawing a blank. Somebody help me out. Star Trek fans, help me out. What's the name of that episode? He's the one where it says, that a bunch is beamed down and, all that kind of stuff. I know, we'll get to it. Rob Fellow says, with all those tanks and military rushing around, I was expecting Godzilla to turn up. Black Guy says 23 watching and only 11 likes. Let's ramp it up, people. Drop it, drop a like, or the Shinu will eat you. Yeah. If there's 23 people in here, there's got to be 23 likes. It's as simple as that. So get on that. RSEFX, he played a Martian in Flight to Mars. Who are we talking about there? Oh, Ankrum. Yeah, he was also in Earth vs. the Flying Saucers. He was the general in that. Kino Reviews is here. He says he's got to check this flick out. Yeah, definitely. It's cool. RSEFX says, by the way, I'm the guy who did the off reprinted retrospect of the film back in the 70s, and I'm on the supplemental material on the Blu-ray. We're working on a book about its making. Oh, very cool. Well, nice to have you here. That's right. Dr. Mass says, get ready for the Halloween release of the Shanu plushie. Don't miss out. Thank you for posting that link, Dr. Mask. Fearless Freak found the background chorus in the sandpit, I think he's referring to. Reminded me of 30s movies like Gone with the Wind. I think they were just trying to go for that kind of creepy, ethereal sound. That it wasn't supposed to be a chorus, but it was just this like noise that was coming out. I find it weird sounding and not disjointed from the film itself because there's so many bizarre oddities in this movie that this one just fits right in with it. What about a month of Westerners or war pictures? You know, I did the Saturday morning roundup for a while there, but we just couldn't pull an audience in for it. You know, the fact there's only 25 people in this one here is disappointing, but it was even less for the Westerns. Oh, there we go. Wait a minute. Jake Blues might be onto something. That sounds fun. You could pick a theme every month. Well, that's true. We could do a Western Monday for a month, do a war Monday for a month, do a rom-com Monday. No, we're not doing that. Never mind. Do sci-fi, do monsters, whatever, and you know, and go back and forth. That could be fun. Faye is here. Says good morning, everyone. Oh, okay. Old Rawhead is a scary campfire adaptation he did years ago. Okay, cool. The 1911 45 ACP, that is correct. Automatic Colt pistol. Hyper Kaiju loves him some It, the Terror from Beyond Space. One of the major influences of Alien. Yeah, I love that movie too, and I love the monster, the Ray Crash Corrigan monster in this. I was at a show one time with Jim Steranko, and Jim knows everything. I mean, he's a huge aficionado of all pop culture, movies, TV, music. He's a raconteur, you know, who can just entertain you for hours and hours and hours about his knowledge about stuff. But I got him on something, and it has to do with It, the Terror from Beyond Space, because he didn't realize or didn't know the story about the creation of the monster mask and the problems Paul Blaisdell had in doing that. And once I told him, you know, he's like, "Oh, I'll never be able to watch that movie the same way again." Hyper Kaiju wants to know if anyone is watching some good monster flicks today. Oh, and Hyper, or rather, Marcus got his Joe Frankenstein 2 tracking number. Yeah, Julie's working hard. Uh, check the link at the top of that's pinned to the top of the show, or check out. I just did in www. I didn't put the HTTPS // thing, but Past Master Dan and some other guys did. So use that link. Oh, well, you're Past Master Dan, so you know. The proper link is pinned to the top of the chat. It, they're going to Mars. They brought weapons to deal with any other creature encounter on the planet. Actually, they go to Venus, not Mars. This is due to the loss of contact with the first ship there, based on the early drafts. Yeah, but bazookas? You know, when you lose contact with somebody uh, on another planet, one would assume there was a catastrophic event, i.e., they lost atmosphere, the ship exploded. There's been no indication anywhere that there's life anywhere. So who would go armed on a rescue party to find them? 1950s spacemen, that's who. Pretty sure it was Venus, actually. Now that I think about it. Or am I thinking of 20 million miles to Earth? Maybe it was Mars. I thought it was Venus, but I could be wrong. Anyone know the name of the device that makes the wooing sound? It has a weird name, like Ethereum or something. Are you thinking of the theremin? Which is what Bernard Herrmann used in uh, as the music in the background of The Day the Earth Stood Still. It's so weird picturing the Chenoo as cute after having reread the story so recently. I love those things. So, it's like I've got all these little, Frankenstein toys and shit. It's a horrible creature, but when they look cute, it's really funny. Like here's a Wolfman one on a skateboard. You take these horrible monsters and you make them cute looking, and I just like that. So I thought that was fun to do with the Chenoo. It's the quality of the people that are in here that matters. I know that, Dan. Cigar Gangster likes the idea of a different theme each month. All right, then that's what we'll do. Yep. Okay, there it is. Theremin. Yeah, Bernard Herrmann used that for the first time in The Day the Earth Stood Still. And it's become like the sound of sci-fi. And everybody says, they're trying to make something sound sci-fi. There's like, it's awesome. I love that. Aloysius says, I'm here for the plush. When are you releasing the plushie? 12 noon Eastern Daylight Time. I'll be right here on my channel. Rob Yount says, how goes Ghosts? Well, the campaign will be closing next week. So I am, when I finish the pencils today, I'll have 2 pages left to finish. And then 2 pages of the epilogue. And then that's it. And it all goes off to the letterer. So things will be happening quick after that point. Did anyone else notice that when the army blew a second hole in the underground, it was depicted in the same spot? Well, it's cheaper to reuse the footage, I guess. Well, that's very kind of you. Very kind of you, Lake One. Thank Julie for us for her work, please. Yeah, she's a workhorse. She's very thorough. She constantly is checking addresses. Like even though it says something on Indiegogo, she checks it against the previous backing to make sure that the address hasn't changed in our stamps.com. So, and she's really conscientious about how she packages up stuff. So, here's to Julie. Okay, I stand corrected. It is Mars. Okay. It's been a while since I've seen that one. Rob Fellows is watching Near Dark later, and also the unnameable 80s double bill. Yeah, I originally had Near Dark on my list, and I couldn't find it anywhere to stream or to rent for that matter. Because when I originally put it on the list, it was available on Criterion, and you know, stuff leaves every month, and that one left by the time my list got made, so that's why I had to take it off the list. You plan on watching a Frankenstein film of some kind today. He's the best monster. He's my favorite. He's definitely my favorite. And 1931's Frankenstein's my favorite of the Golden Age monsters. I Was a Teenage Werewolf. It's Michael Landon. I'm thinking of doing an Abbott and Costello double feature today. Meet Frankenstein and Meets the Mummy. All right, let me just throw this one out to you. Ditch the Mummy and do Abbott and Costello Meet the Killer, Boris Karloff. That's its actual official title. That one, they use a lot of the same soundtrack from Meets Frankenstein. They're still on their A game at that point, and it's a murder mystery, old dark house type of thing. Only it's in a hotel. There's some great bits in it. I'm not a big fan of the Mummy because the Mummy costume looks like shit. But Abbott and Costello Meet the Killer is one that I really like. Or if you want to go back earlier, as Rob Younce suggests, Hold That Ghost. Cigar Gangster says, I currently work with a man who was into collecting sounds and then manipulating them to sound interesting enough to sell to a special effects company. Part of the fun is hearing how he obtains them. Yeah, that's. I remember seeing I don't know if it was a Star Wars documentary or something, but what's his name? Bert. His last name is Bert. He was the sound engineer on the Star Wars films and created all those sounds, like for the blasters and I remember him talking about how he came across some of these sounds, like one of the reverberating shots was a telephone wire that he would hit and capture the vibration and then manipulate it and stuff. I thought that was just fascinating how these sound guys hear noises and they think, okay, that could be such and such, and creating it a sound that didn't exist before. That's really fascinating to me. Is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein on the list? On my list? That was done in year one. They're all my number one favorites are all done in year one. You know what my most watched 31 Days of Monsters is? It's year one's Halloween episode. It's my favorite movie, The Thing from Another World. Last time I checked, it had 56,000 views. The next closest one was, I think, Horror of Dracula. It was one of the Christopher Lee ones, and it was like 12,000. But typically, they hover around 300 views or something like that, But 56,000 is like, holy crap. Boris Karloff is in A&C. Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Yeah. Yeah, that's a later one. Ben Burt, thank you. Oh, excellent, Black Ice. Thank you. I will take a look at that today. Past Master Dan has a special effect too. Got 33 people here in the chat. Excellent. Very nice. All right. I think that's it, guys. Busy day today. We have the launch of the Shinu plushie today at noon, Eastern Daylight Time. And then tonight on the Professionals, the show, ironically, falls to me. So it'll be here on my channel again. And we're doing Halloween trivia night. The categories are classic, sci-fi, modern, and literature. So I'm going to be tossing out some good trivia to the boys tonight. Hopefully they're up for it. I know you guys will be. So tune in for the Professionals tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully we'll see you today at noon for the launch of the Shinu plushies. I'll start working on some ideas for the Monday show, which, what do you want to start with? I guess is the question. Do we want to start with the continue November as a horror / sci-fi, or do we want to switch it up to, let's say, westerns? Because I'm game for both. Send a message via YouTube, and we'll take a look at them and we'll figure it out. All right. So that's it, my friends. We will see you. I hope you guys have a great Halloween. Have a safe Halloween. Watch some monster movies today. Get yourself a Shinu at noon, and we'll see you again tonight. Okay. Bye-bye. And thanks again, everybody, for coming in for 31 Days of Monsters. I do this because I love it, and I know you guys love it too, because you're here every day, and it really is appreciated. So we'll see you, fellas. Bye-bye.